Also keep an eye on European mining and tech stocks. They soared about 5% on hopes of cooling US and China tensions. It's reported by CNBC.
All right, let's see what we got.
1 minute to go now. Lead with the US new home sales units. Also, a reminder, Betsson is due to speak at 10 a.m. Eastern Time too. The video is on the feed.
So we're kind of in this chop zone here on NQ. We have had pretty steady price discovery since we broke out shortly after the London Open. You know, pretty much the area of the upper band, not to the tick, but has provided setups all morning. I mean, even this one kind of. So I'm not sure if anybody took any of those, but those were perfect textbook price discovery continuation setups. We are coming up to the edge of the upper monthly VWAP band here. So
0.724 million, 0.724 million high forecast of 0.7.
We do have some news dropping here, guys. So this is going to whip around a little bit. Careful. The DOM is very thin.
Betsson coming through with comments here saying IMF, World Bank critical roles in the international system. US wants allies to work with it.
Very wiki. Stay careful here. No trades for me yet today.
Founding charters.
Morning, Carlos.
No one who financed or supplied the Russian war machine will be eligible.
Hope you're doing well this morning.
Reconstruction. World Bank.
See how you guys. Arthur's flat. Eric's ready to get it. Let's see what opportunities we have.
Resources more efficiently for focusing on increasing.
I am flying blind without tick strike currently. No trades, absolutely flat.
Betsson says economic stability and growth should be markers of IMF.
Morning, Sean.
Not how much money is lent. IMF needs to call out nations.
I have financial juice up in the background. I have the membership, so I have the squawk box on so I can hear breaking news as it happens. So I just have to listen and they'll tell me what's happening.
Betsson says China's current economic model is built on exporting its way out of economic troubles.
Oh, nice. Chuck's trying out Top Step X, some hotkeys today.
China can start
Morning, Dinesh.
Away from export over capacity.
E-Bomb got some trades on gold earlier. Nice shorts on gold. Tough setups. No real great place to get in. It's just kind of been bleeding out. But if you caught that, maybe the break of IB would have been a solid trade. You know, we certainly have a lot of downside on this. Right? We've just re-entered the monthly VWAP, so this can go down quite a bit. We're really far on the daily. This is quite the sell-off. I think we're down over 4% on gold currently. All right, Dinesh, first day on Top Step. Combines, you take it slow, you take it easy. We're not looking for home runs. We're not trading for feeling or emotions. We're trading to make money, and that happens at one good trade at a time. So let's take it easy. Right, I don't really see much in terms of setups yet, so we'll keep our eyes peeled. Oil had a bit of a VWAP bounce. Right here, also established an IB high. So we're right kind of in the middle of initial bounce right there on oil. Gold's bleeding out. I don't see really any setups. So, Eric, I was looking into this top one. I didn't seem to find a futures version. I only saw a Forex version. Were you trading Forex? Shotgun Eric asked, do I use micros all the time or switch between minis and micros? I'm almost always using micros. Now I'll scale in to 10 micros, which I realize is a full mini, but it gives me a lot more chance to scale in and scale out. So I'm happy to pay a little bit of extra commission or exchange fee for that ability. I'll even trade up to, you know, if I'm getting really aggressive, I have a nice cushion on the day, I'll trade up to 20 micros. That's about max size for me. If I'm up to 30, I'm size too big. Really tough to manage risk in some of these prop step accounts. My cash account, I'll take a larger size when I'm trading that. When we have really good market conditions, I'll hop over to the cash account. Sometimes I'll be trading both. I'll trade the prop firm here on the screen here on my laptop. I'll enter some accounts on my phone or my laptop here.
Down about 0.677 at about $1 and at about 1.1.
Oh, it's top one futures.
The White House is considering slashing China tariffs.
I was looking at top one trader. That makes sense. Well, that's not confusing. It's probably the same company, I'm sure. That's just their futures version. So the micro scale plan is, you know, Shotgun's asking if there's a micro scale plan. You know, generally it's based on your overall risk, and that's up to max size. And it's generally around a level where I'll kind of fire them off to try and get the best price around a particular level. It's nothing too sophisticated, you know. So let's say we're approaching this upper band here, and you know, I'm afraid we might not get to it. You know, let's use this for example. You know, I might scale, right, to try and get an average price around here, and then as we move down, scale out. Right, so, and that's all based on your max size. So if you have a max size of 5 micros, you know, you can scale until you get to 5 as it moves around this area, and then scale out. And that's based on your risk. If you're willing to take a $200 loss on a trade, that's where it all starts, with your max loss per day. And then based on your max loss per day, how much am I willing to lose per trade, right? So if my max loss is $1,000, I might be only willing to lose $200 or $250 per trade. And then based on $250 per trade, how many micros can I scale in and give this thing enough stop loss based on that size, right? Not just using an arbitrary, you know, size number, but like if it's 250 and I need to give it to here, right? That will determine the size.
White House official to CNBC.
I don't use a trailing stop. I'll move my stop to break even eventually, and then I'll be trying to scale out and to strengthen the direction. Yeah, no problem. Happy to answer questions, especially since I don't see a lot of setups yet. Gold still just bleeding out. We're chopping still at this kind of distribution we've formed here since the open. Pretty well defined distribution here. So really not great. Conditions to trade at the moment, unfortunately. So are you liking that top one futures, Eric? I was looking to doing one of these instant fundeds. I like that. It's pretty cool. Add another little account to my repertoire here. All right, so we're still at point of control in NQ. There's still, you know, I'm not trading this long anymore. We're gonna have to wait for some better setups here. See if we get anything else. You know, this oil trade is interesting. You guys were watching yesterday. I traded oil right here. And man, so we had a breakout here. It looked like we were getting some acceptance. We were spending some time up here. So I went long, looking for the expectation for continuation. And I had my stop like right under here, right under VWAP. And we broke VWAP. It stopped me out right here, and then it whoosh. I missed that whole run. I was positioned for it. I was early. Stopped me out first and then ran. So, you know, right idea, bad timing. And I wasn't watching it close enough to get back in, and this all happened pretty fast. But would have been a great trade if I was really consistent with it. Good morning, guys. Good morning. All right, we got some chat going on in here. Experience of Forex. I understood that the marketplace is all moving to futures day trading. Absolutely. Often the best trading setups are during Globex. Yeah, it sure seems like that over the last couple of years, Ed. I would agree with that. You have one, Tony? Cool. Yeah, it's cleaner on Globex, but much, much slower, right? You know, and I can't sit there at 4 o'clock in the morning and wait an hour for a setup. It's just not conducive to my lifestyle. So I'm gonna have to figure out how to make regular trading hours work.
According to sources, several OPEC Plus members want the group to approve another accelerated oil output increase for June at the meeting on May 5th. Just seeing some movement towards the downside. All right. Oil a little bit there.
Very tight range here. On the indexes. Let's go back to oil. That was the move from here. I put this arrow earlier. That was our VWAP bounce to the downside. Didn't take it. I do like oil for some continuation here under the IB. So I might take some here. It's going to be a scalp play. When oil moves like this, it really moves, guys. So I'm already in short. All right, IBX2. Boom. That was something that looked like this. Now that was a momentum trade, which is, not normally in my setups. When we break IB like that off a VWAP bounce and we're in this clear downtrend, I'm going to grab that every time. That was a 100 tick drop in less than 5 minutes. All right, so now we're at 62. Could catch a little bounce here. See if I can catch a little reversal. This trade's over already. All right, I'm in at 61.98. All right, gonna take a couple of profits off here. Move this to break even. See if we can get a bigger bounce here. Still in. Hasn't stop me out yet. So what we have at this level, guys, is, you know, obviously we have the IB extension, but that's not alone by itself a good trade. We have the higher time frame value areas right here. And I'm stopped out. But I did take partial profits on that. That was pretty nice. Could still hold here. Let's watch. Still a decent area to get in. Well, buyers might try to hold this in value. Oh, OPEC news. Accelerated oil output increase. Yep. So this is all news driven. See if we can get back up here. I might take this trade off here at break even. I'm at 85, so I'm pretty much at break even right here. See if I can scale out for a couple ticks. Yeah, I'm out of that one. Small winner. Might rip now, of course. All right, what do we got? Shotgun Eric, I'm currently with Top Step and Take Profit Trader. Anyone here have any more firms that actually have support and pay out consistently? I mean, I think those are two of the best from what I understand. I used to be an Apex guy. I've taken a bunch of five-figure payouts from Apex, but that was before all of the scandals and the rule changes and stuff like that. As soon as they changed the rules like the way they did and they closed their Discord and we couldn't communicate anymore, I never traded with them again. Never again. So that was very unprofessional and shady management in my opinion. Now I think they're still viable for someone learning because you get very cheap evaluations to practice with and have a little skin in the game. But for anybody who's consistent and can actually draw payouts, I would not recommend Apex. TD Trades, morning Chris, it's been a long time, but I used to follow you about a year ago. Good to see you back online. Thank you. Yeah, it's good to be back, man. I've been doing a lot of different things. Never stopped trading. I worked with a fintech in Miami, working on some advanced options trading software with credit spreads and all this cool stuff. That took off, did very well with that. Now I kind of sit on that board a little bit. Sweater, how are you entering and exiting trades so fast? Well, that's easy. I press the button fast, I guess. Lots of practice. Where do I typically get my news from? I got Financial Juice on in the background. I also have their Squawk Box.
S&P 500 consumer discretionary sector up 4.5%.
Yeah, I don't know. Taking fast trades has always appealed to me. I don't know why. You know, maybe as a child of the 80s and growing up on video games, I don't know. It just appealed to me for the fast way of being able to get in and out and understand the price action. And it's just been a way for me to be really consistent. It can work really well. I have really high win rates. My win rate for today is 71% so far.
Steve's Brent crude futures falling $2 as several OPEC Plus members want group to.
The big trick with scalping and fast trades is you have to be willing to get out for a small loss when you're wrong, because one bad trade can ruin all of it. I mean, that applies to trading across the board, but particularly with scalping. So guys on YouTube, I trade for the first 30 minutes on YouTube. Happy to have you guys ask questions and join our stream when there is good setups. We're starting to get a sell-off in the equity markets here. There could be a long setting up as we travel to the bottom of this distribution. Now, on the higher time frame, this is not looking good. Here we are again at lower band on the daily. So far looking like a rejection. Upper band on the monthly VWAP, so I'd be very careful about going long here. This looks like a longer term short, higher time frame short to me, in all honesty. So maybe we catch the return to value trade here, looking for something like this. Now we do have to break out of this distribution, right? So this is the value area low so far on the distribution we've created for the day, right? So maybe if we can get a little retracement back to point of control, this would be the better entry area. So now this would be a good case to kind of scale in a little bit short. As it kind of retraces a little bit here to point of control. And then we can scale out as it moves back through value area low, and then hopefully the continuation to VWAP here. My stop will be on the other side of value. We'll be patient. The 80s video games were awesome.
Minutes away now from the bottom of the hour.
Yeah, Ed's right. It would be helpful to get an idea of, displaying more details on your trade, just for everybody else, and to further the conversation along in the chat. Okay, so obviously we're battling with this value area low and the distribution we have created since the open, but I've been able to scale in a little bit up here.
Was a draw of 0.654 million.
My average price right now is 10. So I'm about 20 points already in the money here. I have about 8 micros on MNQ.
So let's take a look at the API data from.
I'm going to scale out a little bit here on the other side of value. Now I'm going to look for the continuation of VWAP.
At a draw of 4.565 million compared to the prior build of 2.4 million. Cushing API stock change came in at a draw of 0.354 million compared to the prior draw.
All right, I covered half of my position here. Now, if we can continue to accept,
change came in at a draw.
I'm going to try and get closer to the VWAP on the remainder. Otherwise, my stop is at break even. I can't lose on this trade now.
API gasoline stock change came in
Whoop.
at a draw of 2.180.
This is at, my average price is now 12.50
3 million last night.
right here. And we're looking to go down here. See if we can break out of this distribution or expand it to the downside. Now, if I do get stopped at break even, I still like this trade. I'm going to continue to scale in again closer to the point of control. All right, so I got stopped out. Now I'm going to start taking little bites here. See if we get a back test of the band and point of control.
Also looking at the ranges then.
So my new average price right now is still $12.75. So pretty much the same spot.
4 million, and the lower estimate of.
I only have 3 micros currently.
4 million. Gasoline
short at $12.75.
0.5 million, and a low of minus 3 million.
Right there. Let me increase
Distilled
my
inventories with a high estimate
stop loss
of
again.
5 million and a low of minus 2 million.
Okay. Now I have room to add if we get closer to point of control. I've already taken a winner on this trade. Whoa, news flatten. I'm out. Something happened there, and I didn't like it. Took a small loss, $100. So when stuff like that happens, guys, I hit the flatten button. I'm out. Trade's over. I'm not going to wait to see if it hits my stop loss. I don't like seeing stuff like that. I'm going to wait for it to calm down a little bit. Maybe I get back in.
Besson has concluded his remarks at the IIF event.
Okay, so now we're looking to test the other side of value here. This is the distribution we've created so far on this session. It's a beautiful looking distribution. 70% of our trading has taken place in this area. And until we can break and show acceptance to one side or the other, we can expect to stay here. I don't know what's going on with my tick strike. Or reboot it. This is where it would be really helpful. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Sweater asks, how do I set my target profit and stop loss so quick? I don't. I get out manually. I take profits and stop loss manually. So I don't set those orders. I'm using hotkeys or the hotkey buttons.
So
Join bid, join ask, cancel all, flatten all to manage my position. So I'm glad I got out down here, guys, right? I didn't like that switch in price action there. That was not conducive to the trade I was looking for. As soon as it looked like I was wrong in what was happening, I got out. I hit flatten all. No need to hit a stop loss. No need to wait for it to come all the way back up here.
Also,
I can always get in another trade, right? I don't have to get married to the trade I'm taking right now. That's so important.
Prior was a build of 0.5.5 million. Gasoline inventories forecasted for a draw of 1.4 million. Prior was a draw of 1.958 million. Distillate inventories forecasted for a draw.
Now, if we get another rejection wick here,
compared to the prior draw of 1.851 million. And crude Cushing inventories prior was a draw of 0.654 million.
I set my 5-minute volume profile to the opening of the regular trading hours. So for the stocks, it's 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I know it looks like that because I'm using the drawing tool. It just puts it all the way on the left side of the screen. So it's really like this. But yeah, sorry if that's confusing. Yeah, it's not set back here. It's set here. This blue box. It just puts it on the left side of the screen. Let me use the restroom real quick.
So just the headline of several OPEC Plus members want another output increase in June. Just being cited now by the major newswires. Besson says China will come to the realization that it needs economic change, and sometimes it takes external push. there is opportunity for a big deal between the US and China. If China is serious about rebalancing the economy, the US.
So the big difference is if you're using this session volume profile, it'll put it at the beginning. It'll put it right here for wherever the beginning is. But the drawing tool for the anchored VWAP puts it all the way on the left side of the screen. You could probably change that. Placement left, right, you know, stuff like that. Hey, Chuck, is your tick strike working? Huh. I want my $3 back for not being able to use it today. How convenient. 10 seconds, something's happening. I don't know, I heard 10 seconds, so.
Build of 0.
Crude inventories.
244 million. Build of 0.
Oil does.
4 million. At the expected build of 1.55 million.
We are starting to see a little bit of a recovery here in oil.
476 million. A draw of 4.476 million. At the expected draw of 1.4 million. Distillate inventories. A draw of 2.3.
Probably creating a bit of a distribution down here.
3 million. At the expected draw of 0.65 million. Crude Cushing inventories, a draw of 0.086 million. A draw of
so we can expect, you know, this, million. The value area high of that distribution down there. So we can expect to trade in this range now before we either return to this value area up here or move south to discover a new value area. All right, guys, we have an initial balance in the indexes, so that's cool. For those of you guys on YouTube, thanks for joining us this morning. Like I said, I trade for the first 30 minutes on YouTube. We're going to be continuing to trade in the Discord. You guys can join that. There's a free trial for that. There's a link for that in the description of the live stream here. Hopefully you join us. Check us out for a week, see if you like it. For the continue, there's a whole lot of stuff in there as well. Full course on the VWAP Wave system, 8 modules, there's a ton of content, market recaps, a lot of other traders trading this exact system and strategy. So if you'd like to check us out, grab one of those free trials. Otherwise, if you're going to continue trading out there, manage your risk, stay sharp, and hopefully we'll see you in the Discord. Have a great day, guys. For those of you in the Discord, we're going to keep trading.